Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and this week we're going to take you over to Lake St. Clair for some exciting layout duck hunting action. We'll also stop in with a Michigan hunting product manufacturer that's been around since 1989 and still going strong, and we've got some other fun stuff for you this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of focusing in on the deer hunting here in the great state of Michigan. But right before all that deer hunting happening, there was some good late fall fishing that has now turned into winter fishing. Our good friend Gabe Van Warmer has a story for us from Lake St. Clair doing a little pan fishing. And then our old friend James Ford from Michigan Out of Doors years ago recently took a camera out doing a little perch fishing on Glen Lake. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Chappelle, providing sleds, shelters, and accessories for your time on the ice. Chappelle offers a line of pop-ups, flipovers, and the Bay Runner, a mobile cabin with a shelf for electronics and a sliding seat. On the web at chappelle.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
In late November, I headed over to Harrison Township near Lake St. Clair. A few of my good friends invited me to tag along on a layout duck hunt they had purchased with Flatsman Charters. I was really looking forward to spending some time with my old friend Matt Stutt, because wherever Matt is, there's bound to be some laughs.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is a lot like snowmobiling. We already got tools out.
Gotta make sure we put the drain plug in the layout bolt. That's key.
Oh, drain plug would be key.
Have you done this kind of hunting before, man?
Nope. I've done my fair share of missing ducks, standing up, sitting down, so I thought I'd try laying on my back today.
I like that.
So,
Cool. All right. Who do we have coming with us today? Uh-oh.
well, here's our buddy who's going to be late. Where are you at?
So, Aaron, what's the plan? You have this boat that we're calling the mothership. You've got
Yes.
the layout boat, and you've got a tender boat too.
Correct.
Where is the tender boat?
Captain Jerry took the tender boat down to the area we're going to hunt this morning. He's just waiting around, kind of holding down the area, and we're going to go meet up with him and then launch the layout boat and set up the decoys and put some hunters in the boat and shoot them up.
All right, sounds good.
Leaving out of the Clinton River, we're going to be heading south, Lance Cruise Bay area, and hopefully we're going to shoot a bunch of ducks.
Yeah, there are a bunch out there?
Yeah, yesterday was really good, so anticipating a good show this morning.
Cool. All right. And there were lots of ducks in the air again this morning. While the hunters waited in the mothership, Aaron and Jerome made quick work of setting the decoys.
Today we put out 11 dozen decoys on mother lines and then about a dozen single wrap decoys. We try to keep the decoys from the back of the layout boat forward so ducks aren't landing behind you, but we try to keep the layout boat in the decoys so it kind of helps hide the layout boat. Divers typically fly really low to the water, so they can't pick out the silhouette of the layout boat due to the wave action kind of covers the layout boat.
Today we were using a 2-man layout boat, and we had 4 hunters and 1 camera lady who needed to have a crack at one of the seats. For the first round, Matt joined Jim Holzgen in the gunner positions. It took him a couple of minutes to get dialed in, and then they started dropping some of those quick-moving Lake St. Clair diver ducks. One thing was for sure, hit or miss, they were having lots of fun out there. Once a duck was hit, the guys would hold their fire, and Jerome would slip out in the tender boat and scoop it up for the game bag. It seemed like so far this morning, the only ducks we had seen in the decoys were buffleheads. Aaron says there are a couple of factors that determine which kinds of birds will come into the spread.
Lake St. Clair has a lot of different species of diving ducks. Buffleheads, which we shot a bunch of today, to redheads, canvasbacks, bluebills, golden eyes, even some sea ducks, old squaws and scoters.
Cool. And how do you know which kind are coming through or what you're going to get out there?
It varies day to day. Wind direction plays a lot into the birds in Lake St. Clair. Predominant south winds, they usually go to the lee side of the lake. We pretty much only hunt in the morning. That way it gives a chance for the birds to come back and roost. It doesn't push the birds out of the bay.
And so far this season, they haven't needed to hunt the afternoon. If conditions are right, Aaron and Jerome can put guys on their limits after just a few hours in the morning. It was time to swap hunters, so the guys picked up Matt and Jim while Mark Nixon and John Poe got ready to get out of the mothership and into the layout boat. I've known John for the better part of 20 years, but I've never known him to hunt ducks, so I just had to ask. Are you a big duck hunter?
First time up.
Really?
Yep, I'm the rookie of the group.
What do you think of all this so far?
It's great so far. Looks like they're getting some good action, and it's a good morning for it.
Nice. Now, have you done any shotgunning before for anything else?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay.
This is first time duck hunting.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
It happens pretty fast out here. Our shooters who were on their way back had just shy of their 2 limits. While John and Mark were out chipping away at their daily limits, I caught up with Jim and Matt. Pretty fun?
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anybody.
Great time.
What's one tip you'd give to somebody who hasn't tried it before?
Do your sit-ups.
It's just being able to shoot is all, because you're not calling them, so there's not a whole lot of skill involved other than just being able to shoot.
And these guys were all shooting very well. John and Mark were adding to the stringer of ducks, which all happen to be buffleheads today. With just a couple more birds left to fill the daily limit, Jim hopped back in the layout boat to finish out the morning. And that last duck would round out the day. These guys all got in plenty of shooting and were happy to call it a day and head in for lunch. Well, everyone except Matt, maybe.
Today's activities are a lot like a holiday feast. It takes all day to prepare, and it's over in 15 minutes.
That may be true, but just like a good holiday gathering, today held the perfect mixture of close friends, lots of laughs, new traditions, and memories you can't buy right here in Michigan's Out of Doors. When you spend a lot of time in the outdoors hunting or fishing like a lot of us do, it's kind of fun to be able to stop into a place where some of that equipment is actually made that you use every day. In the thumb of Michigan, right here in Ubley, Lucky's hunting blinds have been going strong since 1989. A few designs have been added over the years, but for the most part, these blinds are built the same way they were in the beginning. In fact, over 20 years ago, my dad bought a Lucky's blind that we still hunt out of today. We decided it was time to catch up with founder Robert Peruski to hear how this Michigan company got started.
Why I got started in this, one year that I was hunting deer, it was raining every day, rain. And I was sitting out there, and I had that blind figured out how I wanted to design it before I left the woods that morning. And that's how it started.
Cool. What did you do before that?
Oh, I was a farmer. I milked 60 cows. And then I bought wrecked cars and fixed them up. Everything's made in Michigan. Yeah, we bend all the rods for the blinds. We weld all the gun rests on and cut the fabric out and give it to the women. We got women that sew in their homes. They come every Thursday, Friday, bring in what they sewed up, and they take the other ones back and sew them up. And believe it or not, I got one woman there, 89 years old, she's still sewing them.
Here at the shop, it's just Robert and his son, Robert Jr. Robert Jr. does all of the welding and bending on the frames of the blinds and also cuts out all of the panels of fabric for the ladies who sew them all together. These guys seem to have a fairly streamlined operation going here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. And in this day and age, Lucky's is a pretty unique place. They ship blinds all over the globe, but if a customer is on his way to a UP deer camp and calls the shop at midnight, well, one of the Peruskis will roll out of bed and meet him at the store to sell him a hunting blind.
You always get what you pay for, I guess. They're more money, but in the long run, it's cheaper.
Robert is a true inventor, and all of his hunting blinds seem to focus on quality craftsmanship, but also a way to make hunting more comfortable and stealthy. His latest invention is a line of swivel chair ladder stand blinds and ground blinds. He's designed them for both gun and bow hunting on the ground or from a tree. We headed out of the showroom and into the field to check out this new twist on hunting from a blind. These one-man blinds are put together in a way that shows Robert truly thought of everything when he designed them. He walked me through the quick and easy setup on the ground blind.
Well, all you do is just, there's swing arms on there, and you just set the blind in the holes down there, and it's got a gun rest in it. And then it's got a little rest in the back, so when you put the crossbow of your gun on there so the tent don't come forward, it keeps the tent solid. And there's no squeaks or no rattles to them. And like I say, the swivel's quiet, there's no noise in it. And you can sort of spin them around, and the deer, especially the turkeys, you can spin around, because I was turkey hunting with one of them. Deer hunting wasn't so much, but you could actually spin that around when the turkeys are 15, 18 yards away. They don't seem like they pay attention to it. And you got a bow blind there. Well, you notice you got to push the bow out, There's plenty of room for bow hunting.
And you don't make your ladder stands you make those ladder stands,
yeah, I make the ladder stand and the stand, and it's 10 foot tall, unless somebody wants one taller, but I figure, because that keeps your scent inside, really, the tent, because your scent goes up towards the ceiling, really.
The ladder stands even have an access hole in the back for a safety harness strap. Robert and his son believe very strongly in making quality products that hunters can depend on year after year.
Well, we build a good product, We don't have any complaints on them, When a guy buys it, I like to build it, and when the guy gets it, I want to make sure that he getting what he's paying for, and it works the way it's supposed to work,
It's great to see Lucky's hunting blinds still going strong as they enter into their 25th year of business, and it's always nice to hear of a Michigan company serving Michigan hunters in a stand-up way.
Well, like we said earlier at the beginning of the show, a lot can change here in the state of Michigan in a month, and since we've been focusing on deer hunting the last couple of weeks, we had to kind of hold on to some of our late fall, early winter fishing that we've been doing. Gabe Van Warmer was recently down on Lake St. Clair doing a little pan fishing story. You won't want to miss that. But first, we're going to stop in with our old friend James Ford, who's up doing some perch fishing on Glen Lake.
Good friend of the television show and former host of Michigan Out of Doors, James Ford recently hit the water with some buddies just before the deer season kicked in and was nice enough to bring the camera along. James and the Shimmick family were going to be hitting Glen Lake, which is a great spot to be in general, but even better when the perch are on the bite. And with many of the lakes still not quite ready for ice fishing, we thought this just might give you a few ideas of where to fish as winter sets in. Mike Shimmick has been fishing this lake most of his life.
In Glen Lake, it's definitely a perch lake as far as small boats go. They do plant trout in Glen Lake, a couple different species of trout. Most of them probably go down the Crystal River into Lake Michigan, so probably would definitely be perch, and it always has been perch. There's a big concentration of people fishing on the big lake for salmon and trout and those type of things, or I fish on a lot of the inland lakes, and there's a lot of lakes where I fish where I'm the only boat on, especially during the week or during the day. And there's a lot of bass and perch and bluegill, those type of fish.
Store-bought shrimp, frozen shrimp. I try to get the biggest shrimp possible. Well, this is too small of a piece. This is the size that you really need right there, the biggest possible piece.
Now, most Glen Lake anglers have their own secrets when it comes to perch. Mike likes frozen cooked shrimp as bait, and I have fished with some guys who prefer frozen raw shrimp. But Mike likes these and chooses the biggest ones and then puts them on the bottom of your typical perch rig, leaving the top hook for a minnow. This is a tried and true setup for the Shimmick boys.
And you got shrimp on the bottom one. On the bottom. Yep, just drop it right on the bottom and see what happens.
Nice color to it. Healthy looking fish.
Yeah. I guess we could keep that one. Or is that too small?
We'll set the bar there. Anything bigger than that, and including this, we'll keep.
Well, with the first fish of the day into the boat, the bar had been set. Actually, from this point on, it was pretty much non-stop fish the rest of the day.
Oh, a double.
Ah, 2 of them.
Nice.
On the shrimp. Boy, those are nice perch. Good color on it.
Yeah, you caught the big one on a shrimp.
Yep. Want to open that, Sam?
All right.
Pretty fish. This time of the year, the perch are schooling up, and they're also they seem to bite a little bit better this time of the year because they're feeding a little heavier this time of the year, and so they're following the minnows. So the minnows are schooled up in large schools, and you just have to find where the minnows are. So that's where the larger perch would be.
All right, there's 1, 2, 3. Mike, time for you. On cue there. And that's 4. Nice. All right. All right, do you eat them raw or do you cook them first?
Well, we eat them raw sometimes.
That's a pretty good fish. Now, do you keep that size or you throw that size back?
Oh, we usually throw that size back.
All right, let's keep it this time though, okay?
Yeah, we'll keep it this time.
All right, go ahead.
Well, just so you know, Keith did keep that nice fish, and really spending some time with family out here is as big of a draw as the perch dinner at the end of the day.
We're always fishing with brother Mike, and always competition who can catch the biggest and the most, and just fun, Look at there. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Nice going, Sam.
Now, Sam, what do you think of that?
That's something you like to see.
I got to know how big that perch is. Oh, look at this. You guys are really getting into them now.
Well, as you can see, the guys had a great day and caught over 100 perch with 40 keepers. Not bad fishing for just a few hours. But there are many little lakes around the northern part of our state that are just waiting for you. As this fall fishery turns to hard water, don't be too hesitant to try your hand at a new body of water this winter. As you can see, there is no shortage of fish. Special thanks to the Shimmick family for letting us tag along with them today, and thanks to James Ford for once again capturing the sights and sounds of a day on the water here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, I'm just putting a few things away in the old boat before it goes away for the winter, but there are some really good fishing opportunities to be had here before ice up, and one of those is pan fishing on Lake St. Clair.
Well, this morning we're gonna head out on St. Clair here. Everybody's in the woods, and we're gonna go chase some panfish. It's probably my favorite time to go. There's no competition, and all the big fish are eating, getting fattened up for the ice season for us. So we're out in one of our rental boats. Should be a fun day. We are gonna be looking for bluegill and crappie, and maybe some perch might get mixed in there. The perch are still mainly out in the main lake, but they're starting to make their way into some of the shallows now.
Justin takes pan fishing very seriously, using baits and techniques developed by himself and other local anglers. Limits of good-sized gills and crappies are very common for him.
Well, the drop shot, it's a pretty simple rig. It actually came out of Japan from the bass world. But us crafty panfish heads, we like to take things from the bass world and make them our own for pan fishing. But what you got is you actually have a hook that's tied in line, and you want the hook to stand out like that with the plastics. And then below it, we have a specially made weight called the drop shot weight. It's got a special clip that you thread the line through, and it holds on to the line. And what that's there for is, say you're casting up the rocks or weeds and you get hung up, that weight will either cut through the line or slip off, and you leave the weight behind. You get your plastic bag, put a new weight on, throw it back in there, and you can keep fishing without having to retire the whole rig over and over again. And when you fish it, it's important, I can't stress this enough, that the weight stays connected to the bottom at all time, and all you're doing is you're imparting slack. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the camera, but the line has just got a little bit of slack into it, and you're just popping that bait just slightly. You know, it's not something, you're not jigging walleye where you're thumping it on the bottom. It's a nice subtle finesse tactic that you just have to have a nice soft tip rod for it, and just let that slack impart just about an inch or two of slack, and then pull it tight again. Just pull a little slack, pull it tight again. There we go. There's a nice bluegill, first one in the morning, and she just inhaled it. I think they like it. Lake St. Clair is honestly probably the best overall panfish lake I've ever fished in the country. I've been fortunate that, here's another one. I've gotten to fish a lot of lakes here in the state of Michigan and a few other states, and it offers a lot to the guys chasing panfish. You got bluegill, you got pumpkin seed. It's honestly probably the best pumpkin seed lake I've ever been on. Crappies are really coming back good. It's predominantly black crappie on this lake. Everybody knows about the yellow perch out here. It's probably the #1 fish that guys chase year round out here. It's an ice fishery that is just phenomenal. The fall fishery is nice. The boaters are gone. The fair weather fishermen are gone. So the hardy soul are out here fishing already. And these fish are trying to put on some weight and feed up before ice season happens and food starts getting scarce. And they're just on the feed. You know, it's just like in the springtime when water starts warming up. When this water starts cooling down, it's the same exact thing where they just start eating. The nice thing about this time of year, though, when you get a cold front, usually it picks up fishing, where in the springtime usually shuts it back down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting a little bigger. That's a nice fish. Or it just hit really hard. Nice scrappy gill. There we go. Let's lift him up. Woo. That one hit really hard. Another nice thing about drop shotting, you never throat hook the fish. So you're not killing fish. You can let them go and catch them again the next day, the next day, the next day. Because bluegill have very short-term memory. They'll hit the same thing 3 days in a row.
It was becoming apparent to me that the average day of fishing down here on St. Clair was something comparable to my best days ever in mid-Michigan. Good-sized fish are abundant in this system, and with some expertise and some good equipment, the fishing can be downright phenomenal. Justin says that with some scouting, some of the best days of the year can come right before ice up.
That's a nice fish. I don't know what this is, but it is big. Be a crappie. That would be awesome, or a really big gill would be cool too. Crappie. Crappie. Whoa, almost didn't get him in. There we go. Out in the middle. Middle of nowhere.
If you're looking to do some pan fishing down on Lake St. Clair, Justin is the guy to talk to. That is, if you can catch him in the shop. A big thanks to him for showing us just how good the late season can be for softwater anglers.
Another nice eater.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. As always, you can visit us online a couple of different ways. You can check out our website at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com. All sorts of fun stuff happening there. You can even check out some of our old episodes or watch this week's episode again if you'd like to do that. And you can pop in on Facebook at Michigan Out of Doors TV. Check out what we're doing on a semi-daily basis there. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up for you over the next few weeks.
Well, there is a lot of good stuff coming on Michigan Out of Doors over the next several weeks. We'll be taking a year in review, kind of our look back. If you've never seen that, it's kind of neat to look back month by month at some of the places that we've been here in the state of Michigan. That's always fun to look back at all the different corners of the state that we've been to. And also coming over the next several weeks, I was recently out on the trap line with a father and son. You won't want to miss that. And we have some spearing for you. And I don't mean the kind of spearing that takes place in an ice shack. I mean guys in wetsuits with spear guns going after whitefish and carp, all sorts of crazy stuff this time of the year. It's hard to believe. You won't want to miss that story. Lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks, and hopefully we'll see you right back here on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Jay's Sporting Goods with locations in Clair and Gaylord. Jay's, serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971 with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's, on the web at jayssportinggoods.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 9th through 12th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, fishing trips, fishing boats, and seminars on all Michigan game fish. The Ultimate Fishing Show, January 9th through 12th. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man, changing